Hey everybody. So this is a new thing I'm doing. You might have that there are quite a few people subscribed to my YouTube channel, and you might have noticed that I haven't been putting out many videos lately, which is basically down to me not streaming a lot on Twitch, and I wanted to, record a video and tell you what is happening in my life and what's going on. And I think I might make this a series and do a few of those kind of vlog kind of things. We'll see. So what's going on? Obviously, everybody's in a crazy situation right now, and it's not much different for me. I am doing quite well. There's nothing. There's no immediate problems. I mean, I quit my job almost a year and a half ago because I thought I can work as well or better from home than if I like work for these people in an office. And so in my actual like the way I live, I work, not that much has changed because I was basically never leaving the house in 2019 either. So now everybody doing it in 2020. I was just way ahead of the curve. But of course, like work has changed, and basically I haven't been streaming because I don't have time. I'm in a very fortunate situation right now. There is a lot of my colleagues, especially like journalists, but especially freelance journalists, um, they don't have any work at all. There is a big crunch happening because advertising revenues are in free fall, because everybody's just reporting on COVID-19 and the disaster basically, and advertisers don't want their product associated with that. So advertising revenues are in free fall. It started in the US, now it's come to Germany. I'm I'm relatively isolated from that, just from the people I work for currently. So I actually have more work than ever. No, I don't really. I have a lot of work. I had a lot of work last year. I have a lot of work now. My problem right now is that nobody can plan anything. It doesn't depend. It's not even in my work. Like um, so I'm a freelancer. I'm self-employed. So I have to pay like my taxes directly to the tax office, and I have to report that every month. And like even that isn't like I had a question. I had to something I had to call the tax people for, because I didn't know how to. I'm just learning as I go along. I'm not good with economics or anything like that. So I didn't know how to like book this, like in what category this one thing belonged. And you can't reach anybody there. It's like there's this total chaos. I need to badly re-register my car. So I bought this camper van last year, and because we're moving in this year, I'm moving from Hamburg to Düsseldorf, and the Ruhr area where Düsseldorf is like this. Germany has these environmental protection zones where you need like special, like if you have a diesel or any car, you need like a special sticker in the window. You need a special emissions class. And my car, the car I bought is like 18. It's turned 18 this year, so it's got like no emissions class. So I bought like this particle filter thing for the diesel and had it installed. And in Germany, you have to like, it's Germany, so there's paperwork involved. So I need to go to the so our equivalent of, I guess it's the DMV in the US. I need to go to the driver's government office, and they need to change all the papers and everything so that I can get the sticker. And like that isn't working. Total chaos. I was trying to make appointments. There online. So they changed their opening hours because coronavirus, of course. Because apparently, if you just have open less, it's people get less something. So yeah. So but their online system, like they changed the opening hours, but their online system where you book everything, and that's always been the case. Like nobody just goes there. It's Hamburg, it's chaos. You need to book weeks ahead to go there. But their online system doesn't know about the new opening hours, so I was making appointments. They got cancelled. They just sent you like this automated email. Your appointment got cancelled. Doesn't tell you why. Then you have to figure. It's just like a massive nightmare. I need to do that. I need to do other stuff with the car that I can't currently do. Like my motorcycle is like the So in Germany we have this thing called TÜV, which is our DMV thing, MOT, I guess in the UK. It's like every 2 years you have to have a check, and then you get paperwork, and then you have to go to the no, actually you don't have to go. They just put that on in the garage where anyway. But like mine ran out on the motorcycle, so I need to get that sorted out. But the garage is like, they were closed for a long time. They're like a small business, and they're getting clobbered, and it's just like everything. Nobody answers the phone. You can't plan anything. Then on work, of course, because the situation is completely fluid. Like, so if you're a freelance journalist, especially like me, if you do news stuff, publishers will often use people like that when their in-house people can't get all the work done. So like kind of outsource a bit of the work. But that's all. But it's not like in other businesses. Journalists don't plan. It's like, oh my god, there's too much news today. Call Fab, and then like 3 of them do that, and I might have I'm working on something else. I have a print deadline, and usually like the last year I was kind of happy with just saying no to stuff, and I've been doing that throughout. But it's like in this situation we're in, I'm like thinking like, okay, let's make money while I can. So I'm taking like all this extra work, and I'm doing all of that to explain why I haven't been streaming, because my streaming thing is like stuff I do in extra time. I do some streaming, like currently game streaming basically, and podcasts. And I've kind of like I've moved all this stuff I'm doing on the side over to podcasts, because I just started a new podcast, interestingly, in March, I think, last month, or at the end of February. Anyway, I started a privacy podcast, and I thought, well, you can, I'll ramp it up slowly, do an episode a week, and, do it, just, grow it slowly. But then, this coronavirus, COVID-19 thing happened, and there's all these things are happening to do with like privacy, and it's like, it's mad. It's like a minefield. Like there are like, so currently there's curfew in Germany, you can't go out, and now they want to have this app where they can basically track people. Problem is, we're not Singapore, and we're not a totalitarian regime, and we've actually passed this very inconvenient thing called the GDPR 2 years ago. So now they have to make this app, have to create it really fast, and make it somehow privacy compliant. And they're scrambling with that. I'm researching that thing. I'm like reading there, and it's like, oh yeah, we have a press conference tomorrow. Do you wanna, I mean, you can't go there. Do you wanna call in? Yeah, I'm like, okay, yeah. And then you get an email. No, okay, press conference is cancelled. Moved it one day. Then no, we're moving it to next week. And everybody's just like, you just can't plan anything. So that's a really interesting topic now for the podcast. And now I'm doing like extra episodes, because some people just want normal, content as well. They're completely depressed with all this coronavirus stuff going on. So they don't want to have episodes that just mention all this coronavirus stuff. So now I'm doing extra episodes, because I'm doing some of the ones I had planned, and then I do like up-to-date coronavirus stuff. By the way, if you're interested in that podcast, it's called The Private Citizen, privatecitizen.press, little plug. Yeah. So I've basically moved all my I don't know. I can't say free time. I don't like ever since I started becoming freelance, I have no concept of like work life balance anymore. It's like it's like a work balance. But like the stuff when that's not my free time, but when I'm still kind of working, I guess I've moved that to the podcast. And it's going quite well. I've got quite a lot of people supporting me on Patreon and basically giving me money to do that, which helps out, and which is something that also shows me that people want that content. Because I've played a little bit around recently. I've started some shows. I've shut some other shows down, and now I feel like with Private Citizen, I've found a really good niche that is important and that people want. So that is a very long-winded 10-minute explanation of why I haven't been doing other videos. So I thought I might do this series a little bit and just talk about things. And I'm interested in how you feel about that. So I won't disable comments on this video, but comments is YouTube comments is a bit. It's not a good way to give feedback. I mean, it doesn't really like. There's just people on there. Anyway, the best way would probably just to write me an email if you want to tell me how if you care. If you go to fab.industries/contact, that's fab.industries/contact. There's ways of contacting me on there, but the email address, which is probably the easiest way. I do care. It's just like I'm a bit down on social media right now. I'm actually planning to write a blog post about that. I'm gonna change some things in my life, just to do with social media, but that's not something I want to go into in this video. But suffice it to say, like, I wanna spend a bit of time today in this video as well to talk to you about the current situation that we're all in. And one of the reasons I want to do that in a video and not in writing, I love writing. I'm a writer, don't get me wrong, or on social media, is because I feel like I've been talking about this, coronavirus situation, privacy, all of that, for weeks and months now with people online. And I feel like they do not get where I'm coming from, even though I'm being very careful, uncharacteristically careful, some people would say, for me, in how I word things, and I'm trying to not insult people. I'm trying to be very, very measured, but people, I've got some people that told me I'm heartless, and I'm many things, but I'm not heartless. So I feel like people are not getting what I'm trying to say. I'm gonna try video, because while I do this, you can see me, right? You can see my face, you can hear the tone in my voice, and I've made the experience that in a podcast I don't get it that much. People get a bit more, because they hear my voice, they get a little bit more where I'm coming from than if I just write a blog post or something. And I want to try video now, because I think it's even better. And I have tried doing vlogs in the past, never really stuck. Maybe this is a good time. Our current crisis is a good time to do this again. And that's also something I wanna talk about, because I feel like we are in a very serious crisis. I feel like we're in a very, very serious situation, which I am not at all scared of this coronavirus. I feel like I'm in a bit of a special situation. I'm married to a cell biologist, so I intimately understand how, and she's doing clinical work. So I know a lot about hospitals. I know a lot about how they work. I know about this disease. I've been personally interested in virology, just as a thing that interests me since, I don't know, 2000 something. When I was at university, probably 2005 or something, I read like The Hot Zone, which is a great book, which is like it's based on a real story. of how, the Marburg virus outbreak in Marburg and in Germany, and then the Ebola outbreak in Reston in the US. And I've just been interested in this, so I have some background, and I'm not scared about this coronavirus per se. I mean, if it was Ebola, don't get me wrong, I'd be scared as fuck. If we had like a aerosol spreadable Ebola outbreak on our hands, I wouldn't be making YouTube videos. Let me put it that way. But what I am scared of is what this is doing, first of all, with our society. I see, and I talked about this quite a lot in the podcast. I see first of all, the first thing I noticed was my colleagues in the media and how this is being and was being covered immediately. And in the beginning, there was a lot of wrong information. There were journalists who obviously didn't know what they were talking about. I mean, there was stuff like where they were writing, with the virus DNA, and it's like immediately, like, if you know what you're talking about, it's just like you don't do that, right? It's like I write about tech things, right? I write about web applications or whatever, and I get TCP and UDP wrong, right? Anybody, any admin in any server job anywhere immediately. I mean, you can do that by mistake, but generally, if you're deep in the topic and you know what you're talking about, you're not doing that. And it's not like I haven't done mistakes. I've done many mistakes in my career, and I understand mistakes, but there were mistakes on a level and at a frequency that I was just, that immediately raised all kinds of red flags. Then we had, it was obviously fear-based reporting. I'm not sure so I'm very critical of journalists in general. I like to be critical of my own work as well. And I don't think these people are doing that on purpose. But they were in a situation and in a machine, so to speak, that turned this reporting into fear-based reporting. It was designed to make people afraid, and now my telephone is ringing. I've turned my mobile phone off, but my telephone's ringing. Well, I'll have to ring them back. Let me just. Well, no, I'm not. Is this gonna? Give me 1 second. Can't even turn, like, when something breaks, everything breaks at once, right? I couldn't turn it off because the button doesn't work, so I had to take the batteries out. Anyway, I will ring them back after this video. I'm not the only one who can't be reached by phone right now. Where was I? Yeah, so reporting that is making people afraid, and it's because it works, right? People click that, people read that, people watch TV that's on TV, and that was the first thing I noticed. And damn, I lost my train of thought. Anyway, we are in a situation right now where I noticed that going on, and I wasn't really afraid of this virus, and I still am. I'm not. And I don't think people understand that, because I'm like, don't you have... They say to me, like, on Twitter, on social media, they're like, don't you have people you're afraid of? I have people I'm afraid of. My grandmother is 90 years old. 98 years old. 98 years old. People very close to me have conditions where they have to take immunosuppressant drugs. these people are like in the absolute risk group for this. But so I'm personally I'm afraid for them. But like, what's that going to change? That is something that is in me. That is not going to change. And I just the one thing I'm doing is I'm refusing to let that cloud my decision making and change my daily life. Because what I'm gonna do, like, just be months now me being deadly afraid for these people. And the funny thing is, like, not funny, but the thing is, these people are not afraid themselves. Both my grandma, she understands that she has to stay at home right now. So I visited her the other week, because basically she's alone. She's like, really, if you can't go out, she's like, really, like, there's a level between like what's like I'm afraid for her, not only that she would get this disease, but also that she would, like, she's in a state where you're like, if she stops wanting to live because she has nobody to talk to. I mean, I've seen this happen to other people. They'll just, like, if you're 98 and you don't want to live anymore, you're like, your body shuts down. I don't want to do that. So it's also important that she has social contact. Obviously, I was even wearing a fucking mask. I was being very careful. But she was like, she didn't even understand that. She was like, just don't, I'm just happy that you're here. And she doesn't want to change your life. And there's an aspect of, like, if I die of this, I die of this. Other people I really love, that are dear to my heart. I love them, and they're on these immunosuppressant drugs, but they're going to work. Like, one of these people works in a hospital, and they're still going to work because they're like, what am I supposed to do? Cower at home in fear now? I might get this disease and I might die, but otherwise, if I don't die and if I just destroy my life for a year now, is that much better? So these are things that are going through my head, and that are definitely affecting me emotionally, but I'm still not that afraid of that. What I'm much more afraid of is just like the draconian rules we have now, that are not that the state is doing that. This is like, I study politics and history. I know that states do this. The problem is that the people, generally, a majority of people just accepts that. They're like, we need to save tens of thousands of people's lives, and so it's completely cool if you lock everything down and you lock everything in their houses. And I'm not against social distancing. I'm not against staying at home. I am against the state using very, very strict laws and very, very restricting people's personal freedoms, civil liberties. I'm against that. I mean, we have things. So yesterday, Monday, I recorded a podcast. So we have a person that comes to our flat and cleans our flat, because my wife and me, we work a lot. Like, we both work 10, 12, 13 hours a day. And we have very limited free time, and we try to spend that free time with ourselves or with stuff we like to do that relaxes us. We don't want to, like, it's completely decadent, and it's like a third world problem, but it's a first world problem. It's absolutely first world problem, but we don't want to clean our flat. And we're like, we make enough money, we earn money. It's more important for us that we have that time than that we have the money. And we hire somebody. They're from a company. This is not like some off the books thing like lots of people in Germany do. It's the person that cleans for us, it comes from a company. If they get sick, they get sick pay. They have social insurance, so it's a bit more expensive than if you would do it off the book. But we want to do it properly. Anyway, so we have this person who comes in. once a week. And obviously I'm working from home. My wife's quite working a lot from home now and as well now, but she was in Düsseldorf. I'm working from home normally. And so I have this person come in to clean our house for 3 hours. So I can't really sit here and work. So I was like, what are you going to do? Normally I would go out, I would sit in a cafe or somewhere and work from there. Obviously can't do that at the moment. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to take the camping bus. I'm just going to drive somewhere on a parking space that's kind of not so crowded, which is hard in the moment because apparently I'm the only person working. If I go out right now in the middle of the day, there's like people walking their kids. There's like they're in their garden things. Like nobody's working. They're driving around. So I was like, I'm gonna find that parking space. So I did. I'm just gonna park there and I'm gonna record a podcast. I took some recording equipment. I'm gonna record this podcast there. So I was just parked there. And like these 2 police officers come up to my car. They're like, do the window down. They're like, you can't be here. And I'm like, what? So the neighboring federal state, Schleswig-Holstein, has closed their borders, and you're not allowed to go in. It's like for tourists, but you can't go in there if you don't have like work business. And Hamburg is a city-state. So the city limits of Hamburg, it's a city, but it's also a federal state. So it's bordered on the north. It's like this little island on the federal state's like an island. There's on the north is Schleswig-Holstein, and on the south is Niedersachsen, Lower Saxony. And so I was on my way through like to the outskirts of town because I live quite close to the border here in the north. I was like looking for this. I found this parking space, and I had left the city limits of Hamburg, so I was in Schleswig-Holstein. And they immediately saw my number plate. In Germany, we have city-dependent number plates. So they saw HH. So they're like, he's from Hamburg. He can't be here. And I'm like, okay. I didn't know I was in Schleswig-Holstein. I had no idea. Like, I hadn't seen the sign. I was just looking for a parking space. And they were like, yeah, no, you can't be here. I'm like, okay. I explained to them, I'm doing like work. I can't be in my home office right now. I need to be alone for a few hours. And you just need to park my car somewhere where like the police are not pulling me over because I'm not allowed to park there or whatever. So where can I go? They're like, well, Hamburg, we don't know. But Hamburg's 50 meters over there. And you can just go there somewhere. And I'm like, seriously, 50 meters? 50 meters? You're chasing me off here because of 50 fucking meters? And there's like all these stories. They're like in the woods where like the federal state border is. They're like patrolling and pulling people off their bicycles, and they're like, you can't go over here because you're on a bicycle, you're not working, so you can't go to this part of the wood because that's Schleswig-Holstein. There's like stories of police officers going to like a gay couple, and they're telling them, you're 2 people, you can't be out here together, you need to be alone when you're outside. And they're like, we're together, right? And then the police not buying it, and then the police officers asking them for like their WhatsApp chat to prove that they're together. This is absolute madness. This has nothing to do with stopping the spread of disease. It's just rules and people getting a kick, like a power kick out of enforcing rules, and it is just utter madness, and it is doing something to our society. If we keep this up for long, this will be the new normal. People already don't care about privacy anymore, and this is Germany. Everybody was like up in arms about privacy all the time, and people don't care because like we need to stop the spread of disease, and all the end completely justifies the means. We don't give a damn. It's just, and I haven't even talked about like the thing that really worries me is just like the economy. Like this is way worse than 2008. I'm not an economist. I know very little about stock markets and stuff, but it's clear. This is looking like a proper depression. This is looking like Great Depression level of problems that are coming towards us when this whole stupid virus shit is gone, and that is like the things I think about. And when I write about this, people are like, how can you, like, it's about people's lives, who cares about the economy? And the other week my wife said something really, really intelligent. So we were sitting at breakfast and she's like reading Twitter or whatever, and she's like, I was thinking about this last night when I was lying in bed. It's like, my wife says, how what is wrong with these people when they say, who cares about the economy? We have to protect people's lives. Don't they understand that the economy is people? And I was like, I hadn't thought about that way. Like, that's a really, essentially that's what I was saying as well. The economy is people. It's not a choice between saving people's lives and saving the economy. It's a choice between saving people's lives and saving people's lives, because this will have serious consequences to all our welfare systems, all the unemployed people. If this goes like Great Depression level, the Great Depression caused the Second World War. The only reason, not the only reason, but like a major reason why Hitler got to power in Germany was because we had a First World War, we had a pandemic, an influenza pandemic, things were going to shit. And then we had a crash, a market crash, and people's livelihoods were threatened. There were people starving, obviously we didn't have that many welfare systems back then, but, the German democracy, the democratic state, the Weimar Republic, got crushed. And it got, and you had guys with totalitarian ideas using this disaster, on the back of that disaster, because people were unhappy, and they changed the, governmental structure and implemented all this shit, and then, So this call, I'm not saying we're gonna get a new world war, but this will cause heavy geopolitical problems that people are not thinking about. And that's just aside from just what it will just do to everything else, right? What higher unemployment? Like, there's there are people right now who are self-employed like me, who I'm in contact with, who are not earning any money. That they've got nothing, and they of course the government is in Germany has put aside billions and billions of euros to save these people, essentially to bail them out, which is great, which you have to do. But that's not like, hey, that's money that's got to come from somewhere. That is going to cause problems down the line, and it's not solving all of these problems. Depending on how long this shutdown lasts. And that's the stuff I'm worrying about, and I feel really bad about it. I also feel it's really weird that this is like almost exactly 100 years after the last time. Even the pandemic, market crash, it's just like, it's almost exactly 100 years. And you're like, wow. As history repeats itself is a saying everybody knows about, but to see it happen is quite something. I'm really happy. I should be happy. I'm okay. I've got work. I'm being paid, but still, I'm looking at the situation, and I'm looking at other people, and I'm thinking, wow. People are saying, yes, we need to protect vulnerable people, and we need to slow down the spread of this, and we need to see that there's not too much people in the hospital, in ICUs, because I know the situation. I know how bad it is. I know people who are in hospitals who are caring for these patients right now, and that it's really bad. If you get this thing and you get to the ICU, I think the number I've heard about from a doctor is the average time people with COVID-19 that get on a breathing machine stay there on an average for 17 days. And that's the average. That is, that's crazy. And we don't know anything about, like, we know how the virus works. Yeah. So, but there is these doctors, they don't know why the people are dying. They know, you have a lung, you get, pneumonia basically, but like the actual biologic processes why does this virus do this so badly is like really badly understood. And it is bad, but it'll not get better. Like even if we go over this and we can go out again, then all the other problems are just gonna hit us, like all this economic slowdown. And no matter how you speak to him, I know some guy who runs like a local game store here, and I mean he's done. I think he's like, okay, I've applied for all the government stuff, but I don't know if I can like reopen the store. I've got like credit with everybody, and I can't pay that back, and I have to keep paying rent. And it's just like, if you talk to people like that personally, and you talk to people personally and how they're affected, it is such a contrast to what you see on social media, where everybody is just going, there's all these, we're gonna stick through this, hashtag stay the fuck at home, hashtag we're gonna survive, blah 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 blah. And there's all this, we're suing masks, and buy at your local retailer, and we're gonna stick to. But to be honest, there's no actual sticking together. That's just all just like people saying that. I mean, people are out for themselves. If you have a little restaurant right now and you're struggling to, like, there's all these stories, if you talk to people, you're struggling to now do like order to do people can ring up and order food, and you do food delivery, and you've never done this before, like the struggle that is. And like even then the revenue you're missing, or people that are work in hotels right now, or people that have been laid off that work in hotels, the guy with the game store, all of this, there's nobody's helping them. I mean, they apply for government money, yes, but like that's not a long-term solution for them. And I'm not saying, stop this whole bull crap, let's all go out and infect everybody. That's not what I'm saying either. But it's like there's this overwhelming majority of people who are saying we have to do this, and no questions asked and whatever. And you just can't. There's just no, like, whenever you bring like an argument against that, and you're like, maybe we need no, bro, you get shouted down. And that's unfortunate, because I feel like these decisions are being made, the decisions we currently made, like the laws they have passed, the edicts and all of that, might turn out to be exactly the right thing. And I believe that. I'm just not saying it might turn out to be exactly the right thing. But at the same time, if you just analyze the way these decisions were made, were very worrying. Like it was based on fear, not based on not based on data. scientific because we didn't have the data. We don't even have the data now. So yeah, there's an argument. If you don't have the data, you have to do something. But like, it just scares me that. I mean, nobody saw this coming. There were all these preparations for outbreaks, and stuff the CDC did, stuff the WHO did, all these regulations they had in place. Even like after SARS, they changed a lot of those, and there was preparation going on, but obviously we were caught unprepared. I mean, they had to change laws and pass stuff in Germany in like a very short time with like really weird processes, and yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this. I probably should stop. I've talked for 40 minutes. I didn't really plan that. It's just I'm a little bit scared about these kind of things, and I wanna talk to somebody, and I don't want to depress you even more. But it's a bit depressing, even though I'm doing well, with my job and everything, and I've got a lot to do. So, unless a lot of other people, so that's good. But I'm also like I'm also a bit depressed because I'm in Hamburg. I live in Hamburg. It's a wonderful city. It's sunny outside right now. It's like the best weather. But I can't go out and I can't do anything. I can't even take my camper van and go into wonderful Schleswig-Holstein. And that sounds like, yeah, but you're not dying. That's true. I mean, it's absolutely completely privileged first world problem, but that doesn't mean that I'm not like that. It's not affecting me. That's not like making me feel bad. In my situation, also, we're moving to Düsseldorf in like 3 months or so, and we're moving to Düsseldorf because of job related reasons, and I don't want to leave Hamburg. I love Hamburg. And we had like this huge, we call it the Hamburg, like my wife and me had this Hamburg bucket list of all the things we wanted to do before we move. And this is all out the window. Can't do any of that. And now I'm just sitting here inside and working all day and working my ass off, while I could, and my brain just goes, you could actually enjoy Hamburg right now. But I can't. Anyway, that's where I'm at mentally right now. And maybe also that's why I don't do game streaming at the moment. Yeah, so I might do these once in a while. Please tell me what you think, either in the YouTube description or mail me fab.industries/contact. Details are on there. And otherwise, just hang in there. I don't know how's it going for you, but hang in there. We will get through this somehow. I mean, the world will go on. At the very least, if you're not coughing right now, you can say, well, at least I think I don't have this disease. Anyway, still have a good day, and I'll see you soon. And wherever you are, just hang in there.